You swore by all the gods your son would marry my daughter!
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the scenes that announced a complete shift in the tone, dynamics, or entire premise of the show. We're focusing on live-action shows only, meaning animated series are out. Also, spoiler alert,
what am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. Am I doomed? Are you doomed? Are we all doomed?
No, calm down. Nobody is doomed.
Number 10. Dolores shoots Ford, Westworld.
What does it mean?
When I was first working on your mind, I had a theory of consciousness.
HBO's philosophically rich science fiction epic is about a theme park populated by humanoid robots playing out Western gunslinger scenarios for paying guests. By the final moments of its first season, it had already strayed far from its much simpler source material. Dolores Abernathy, the oldest robot host in the park, has discovered her true nature.
This world doesn't belong to you.
Oh, but it does. By a majority share. And business is booming. And you want to know why? Because this place feels more real than the real world. Except it isn't. Because you can't really fight back.
She ends the first season by sparking a host uprising against humans, beginning with the park's founder, Dr. Ford. This ending launches the show into new territory. The hosts begin their takeover, and finally, the real world and Westworld begin to collide more than ever. Number 9. Ellen Comes Out, Ellen.
You thought I was gay? Yeah. Why would you think I was gay?
The real-life star of this mid-90s sitcom came out in the press in mid-April of 1995. Now it was time for her character's long-hinted-at sexuality to be made explicit. Ellen DeGeneres' fictionalized self came out in style at the end of that same month. Guest stars Oprah Winfrey and Laura Dern were even there to commemorate the occasion. Despite making the hilarious announcement over the airport PA system, not everyone was ready to hear about Ellen Morgan's coming out.
I mean, what is wrong? Why do I have to be so ashamed? I mean, why can't I just say the truth? I mean, be who I am. I'm 35 years old. I'm so afraid to tell people. I mean, Susan, I'm gay.
While it inspired a huge amount of real-world controversy, it also allowed the show to explore its character's reckoning with her newfound confidence in her true self. Ellen would not only run one more season, but it made its mark.
That felt great. That felt so great. And it felt so loud.
Number 8. Rory Moves Out, Gilmore Girls.
I'm not going back to Yale next year.
I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you correctly.
I'm not going back to Yale next year.
But why?
Because I'm not sure that it's the right place for me.
There was always one constant in Stars Hollow, Connecticut. Lorelai and her daughter Rory Gilmore were best friends. So, when a disillusioned Rory decides not to return to Yale, the thing they had worked and planned for all those years, it signals a shift in their relationship and a change in the show.
Trust me, this is very normal.
No, you're not quitting Yale.
Yes, I am.
You're acting incredibly immature, and I know it's because you're hurt, but you've got to get a grip.
Rory moves in with her grandparents, and Lorelai has to watch her daughter pull away from her and become the spoiled rich girl she never wanted her to be. In some ways, it's inevitable. The thing that Lorelai feared most comes true. It's the great tragedy of the show, especially given how special Rory was always supposed to be.
Overflowing, and I think it's going to win.
Number 7. Walter Lets Jane Die, Breaking Bad. The unassuming chemistry teacher who turned to the drug trade after a cancer diagnosis could only pretend to be the good guy for so long.
That's right. Daddy did that.
His efforts to provide for his family once he's gone change Walter White for the worse. As he finds his footing as a drug kingpin, he also becomes greedy and consumed with power. His point of no return comes near the end of season 2, when his young associate Jesse takes up with Jane, a fellow person with substance use disorder.
How do I know she'll keep quiet?
I guess you don't.
Walking in on the two as they sleep, Walt sees Jane aspirating and chooses not to save her. The act cements his power over Jesse and completes his transformation into the show's ruthless, self-serving anti-hero. Number 6. Paul's Death. 8 Simple Rules. John Ritter was the original star of this show about a father preoccupied with his teenage daughters' personal lives. His unexpected death during production of its second season forced the series to change course.
Mom? Mom?
My keys. Where are my keys? Mom! Oh my God. Mom?
The show lost its star, the fictional Hennessy family lost its patriarch, and the show had lost its point of view. Its irreverent tone became softer and less funny. Stories about dating and strict parenting became tempered by the family's grieving process, and star Katie Seagal's character getting acclimated to being a single parent to 3 children.
It's Dad's last article. Grandpa found it.
Oh my God, Mom, read it.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to.
Although the show tried to move on, it would only last another full season after Ritter passed away.
Dad would have never let me go out like this. He would have definitely sent me upstairs to change and told me to cover myself up in some hideous sweater and sit me down for an hour lecture on how I should respect myself because guys only want one thing, and I always hated it when he did that. I just want my dad back.
Bridget!
Leave me alone!
Number 5. Christina Yang leaves Gray Sloan Memorial. Grey's Anatomy. When Sandra Oh announced her exit from the ABC medical drama after 10 seasons, it was seen as a major shakeup.
Derek. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
She wouldn't be the first of the original cast to leave. The show had already proved it could survive without characters like Izzy Stevens and George O'Malley, but Christina was Meredith Grey's person. She was often the only person who could remind Meredith who she is. What's more is that O was incredible as the sardonic surgeon.
I thought you were competent. Well, no. When you got here, I thought you were an imbecile, but you got competent. Like a decent handyman.
There were more shakeups to come. Meredith would lose her longtime love Derek Shepherd the very next season, but losing Christina irrevocably shifted the dynamic between Meredith and the entire staff.
We'll call each other at least twice a month, and we'll text all the time. Wait, text me. And don't let Owen get all dark and twisty. Take care of him. And Alex, take care of Alex. He needs to be mocked at least once a day, or he'll be insufferable.
Number 4. Henry Blake dies. MASH. The longer its eccentric and sarcastic ensemble of army doctors stayed in Korea, the more they had to change.
I didn't know it wasn't just some excuse to ship you 8,000 miles from home.
Yeah, the Korean War was invented so your parents wouldn't come looking for you. Oh, you're a pair of sickos.
For all their adolescent antics, the team at the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital became incredibly close. MASH wasn't exactly a bloodbath of a show, so the sudden death of Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake was a shocker.
Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake's plane was shot down over the Sea of Japan. It spun in. There were no survivors.
In the episode Abyssinia Henry, Blake is on his way back to the States when his helicopter is shot down. And the scene where his colleagues find out isn't played for laughs or tears. It's played to a hollow and haunting silence. It marked a notable shift in the tone of the show as the realities of war began encroaching more and more. Number 3. Ned Stark's Death. Game of Thrones. From the start, the epic fantasy series found ways to tell us they weren't pulling any punches. Its pilot episode ends with a whopper of a twist, signaling that not even the child characters are safe. But the first season achieves its greatest hat trick when it dared to kill off its supposed main character, Ned Stark.
I betrayed the faith of my king and the trust of my friend Robert. I swore to protect and defend his children. But before his blood was cold, I plotted to murder his son and seize the throne for myself.
After running afoul of the royal family, Stark is cruelly beheaded in a public execution in front of his 2 daughters. The Red Wedding was agonizing, but this was our first indication that Game of Thrones is a show where the heroes aren't invincible.
So long as I am your king, treason shall never go unpunished. Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
Number 2, Roseanne's Death, Roseanne and the Connors. Here's a case where the show literally became a different show. The real-life Roseanne's tweet about Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett landed her in a whirlwind of controversy. She was fired, and her title character was killed off between seasons.
I just got a call from a friend in the coroner's office. The autopsy found that it wasn't a heart attack. Roseanne OD'd on opioids.
Not possible.
Despite no involvement from Roseanne herself, The Connors is very much a continuation of the original show. The focus shifts instead to widower Dan Connor, and the family moving past her death. Viewers seem to get over it.
Rosie needed painkillers. I had some, so I gave them to her.
So? You're part of a neighborhood drug ring. Congratulations to you.
The Connors aired for several seasons, and it's nowhere near as weird as when the family won the lottery in the original run.
So I began writing about having all the money in the world. And I imagined myself going to spas and swanky New York parties, just like the people on TV, where nobody has any real problems and everything's solved within 30 minutes.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. James's death, good times. The Evans family loses its patriarch.
We regret to inform you that your husband, James Evans, was killed in an automobile.
Zombie outbreak, Community. This Halloween episode changed what the community college set sitcom could be.
You punched a lady, bitch!
Urkel's first appearance, Family Matters. The nerdy neighbor became a sensation in its 12th episode, and the show shifted focus.
You get that, I've got to go up and help Rachel.
Hi, Mr. Winslow. I'm Steve Urkel.
Graduation, Glee. Much of the cast graduates high school, and the action splits between Ohio and New York.
Was a big baseball player.
Michael Chang Jr.
Back in high school. He could throw that speedball fire, make you look like a fool boy.
Charlie Harper dies, 2.5 Men. Actor Charlie Sheen's infamous exit brought a new character played by Ashton Kutcher.
I guess now is as good a time as any.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. This is The Bad Place. The Good Place. Originally a comedy about a flawed afterlife where everything that could go wrong does, The Good Place pulls the rug out from under us in its first season finale.
Holy mother-forking shirt balls.
Eleanor Shellstrop is struck with a moment of realization. She and her friends aren't in the good place, they're in the bad place. And the not-so-angelic Michael is revealed to have constructed this afterlife and all its quirks as a form of psychological torture.
Oh, man. I can't believe you figured it out. Oh, God. You ruined everything, you know that?
This revelation sets the show and its characters on a course of moral, ethical, and theological discovery. The Good Place changes the rules and overall premise, but it never loses its sense of fun and whimsy.
Shall we?
You know what, bro? Do your worst. We figured it out once. We can do it again. Because you know what, Michael? Yeah, they say.
Which of these moments do you remember watching live? Tell us in the comments.
That's enough, Bernard. Mustn't get yourself worked up.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.